What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm interviewing a very special guest, one of our admins and VIP coaches here inside of Creator Haven, Nick Lucido. Nick has been with us for over a year now, and he has done nearly $1 million in TikTok Shop GMV. Today we're going to be breaking down his entire experience with us here inside of Creator Haven and how he consistently hits anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 a month on TikTok Shop every single month. Enough said, let's get straight into the interview. Sit back, relax, and take some notes. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very special guest here with us today, Nick, who has now done almost $1 million with the TikTok Shop GMV since being with us here in Creator Haven. He has now been a part of the community for almost over a year now. He is also one of the admins for our community and a VIP coach. Nick, it's going to be an absolute pleasure to get this interview done. If you want to kind of introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. What's good, guys? So I'm Nick. I've been doing TikTok Shop for about a year and a half now. Right around that 1 million point in GMV. I was the very first person to join Creator Haven. So I'm very excited to kind of get into this today.
Yes, sir. 100%. Yeah. So kind of give us a little bit of a backstory kind of prior to TikTok Shop. I know you did some stuff with YouTube. I know you may have had a 9 to 5 here and there. So kind of walk me through that.
Yeah. So I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I kind of wanted to get into a little bit of my past life just to hopefully motivate some people, kind of tell you guys some crazy stuff for a second. So my dad passed away when I was 6 from a drug overdose. And shortly after that, my mom started getting on some heavy drugs too. So that's kind of where I came from in terms of that. My mom was just moving apartment to apartment with me and my sister, single mother. I'm doing much better now. I live with my grandparents, moved in with them when I was 12. Amazing house. Very grateful for that. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to share that so that, hopefully somebody watching this can understand that anybody can do this if you put your mind to it. It doesn't matter what your past life is, where you came from, anything like that. But in terms of what I did actually before this for work, yes, I tried YouTube, Instagram theme pages, drop shipping on eBay, pretty much every online money thing you could try. 100%. And, I made a couple $100 here and there, but nothing ever really stuck with me. Those obviously were my main jobs. So I also worked in a warehouse. I was a chef at a restaurant for a while. Yeah, nothing really clicked for me.
100%. Yeah. And I love that you didn't let your situation obviously define you. That's pretty, hard going through those tough losses early in life, and probably some of the reason why you're still doing shop today, because obviously you've been through the bans, you've been through the struggle, but having all that happen early on in your life kind of built that up for you inside and kind of gave you some adversity early on. So may have turned into a blessing with shop as well, because obviously with shop you can have the ups, you can have the downs. So it's absolutely amazing.
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of what did your life look like back then? Maybe when you were doing the cooking job, maybe when you were in the warehouse, what were kind of your goals and aspirations? Obviously you tried stuff with YouTube, you tried stuff with Instagram theme pages. Why did you kind of try to pivot away from that into TikTok Shop?
Yeah. So like I said, pretty much ever since I was 12, I was trying to make money online, and just any job that I got, whether that was the warehouse or the cook job, I always tried to just be the best that I possibly could be. And I realized very quickly that no matter how hard you worked at one of those jobs, you're still only going to get a raise every 6 months or something like that. It doesn't matter how good of a job you're doing. So that's when I kind of realized that this just wasn't for me. I didn't working that hard to not see any improvement in my actual income. So TikTok Shop was I realized early on, it was the work that you put in is what you're going to get out of it. So that's why TikTok Shop just really clicked for me.
100%. And what were you making at kind of that cook job and maybe the warehouse job? What was it per hour?
I was making as a cook, around 15 an hour. Warehouse was around 16 an hour. So my take home ended up being anywhere between $1,800 to $2,000 a month. And obviously that's not too much in today's world. So I just was not saving pretty much anything.
No, 100%. And then obviously you were doing YouTube kind of up until TikTok Shop, correct?
Yeah, I was dabbling in it. I've had a couple YouTube accounts actually banned just from posting stupid shorts and stuff. My one monetized, yeah, bro. Yeah, my one monetized YouTube channel, I was just trying to make some extra money, posting these cop short form videos, and I just ended up getting my account completely banned. And that put me I was really upset because it took me a while to get that account monetized. So yeah, and then after that, I ended up streaming Call of Duty on TikTok, and I ended up actually getting to 5,000 followers. And so when I saw that 5,000 followers, obviously I unlocked the TikTok Shop, and I was just you know what, let me try this, let me see what it is. So I did TikTok for a little bit or TikTok Shop for a little bit, obviously before I found you guys, maybe for a month or so. And I posted a video of a controller because I was already in the gaming niche.
Yeah.
So that video, one of my videos very early on in TikTok Shop ended up getting around 2 million views, and I only sold maybe 5 controllers from that video. So I knew if I wanted to make this work, I was going to need some help for sure.
No, 100%. And I do believe, maybe you mentioned this to me before, weren't you making some sort of money when you were doing streaming with live streams on Shop?
Yeah. So I actually had some crazy donator come in to my live stream and donated me over the span of a week, probably about $5,000. And so that was my sign. I was just all right, I'm quitting the warehouse. Somehow I'm going to make this streaming stuff work. And obviously, donations from somebody isn't like a reliable income.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get into that shop side of TikTok.
100%. And when did you kind of realize like, okay, maybe this streaming stuff is working, but maybe it won't be as reliable? Did you maybe go another week streaming and then you saw the dip in income, and that, like, what kind of unlocked that for you? Because obviously going from a warehouse job at $2K a month, all of a sudden you made $5,000 in 1 week. Why try to pivot? Why try to get into shop? How did you kind of like know?
Yeah, it was kind of like about 2 weeks of just, I made maybe like $1,000 or $2,000 instead of that 5K. And I just, after getting that amount of money, obviously at kind of a young age, I just really wanted to figure out how I could make this online money 100%. Stuff work. Obviously, I knew the potential with TikTok and how big the platform was growing. So I figured, why not do TikTok shop?
100%. And then obviously you kind of pivoted into shop. You had that good video, get a couple million views. Then how did you come across Caden and I? Because obviously you're one of the first people inside of Creator Haven. At this point, we hadn't even started personal brands. We were just on the shop side. Kind of how did you come across Caden and myself as creators?
Yeah, so pretty much like after I applied for the TikTok shop and I was kind of doing my own thing with the controllers and stuff, every single day I would see Bruce's videos on my For You page. It's like $1, $1, $1. And I will be 100% honest, like the first like probably week that I saw your videos, I was low-key like annoyed that I would just keep on getting them. And then something clicked in me. I was like, well, once you apply for shop, you can actually see how many sales somebody has like under their showcase.
Yeah.
And so obviously I saw like how many sales you had. And I also thought to myself, well, if I'm seeing his videos every single day, that must mean there's a bunch of other people seeing his videos every day. And so literally just something clicked and I straight up just started copying Bruce, like word for word, every single TikTok shop video I posted from then on. I was just like, dude, this guy knows what he's doing. I'm just going to copy him. And yeah, that's kind of like how I found you guys. And, after a while, I just realized I needed to reach out because what was cool about it was when I started copying you, I actually saw like success. Like I made I started making like $300-400 a week, just pretty much right off the bat because I was strictly copying you guys. So yeah, that's how I found Bruce.
100%. And then kind of what made you actually decide to reach out? Because obviously Emery was the same way. Right. He saw us on the For You page. He started copying us a little bit. And then he decided, okay, I need to reach out because I'm stuck. Like at some point you can copy to a T, but then you need that little extra boost to kind of maybe get out of that $300 to $400 a week, maybe to more the $4,000 to $5,000 to even $10,000 a week. What made you kind of actually decide to reach out, take that next step?
Yeah. So part of that would definitely be like, when I ended up finding one of Bruce's accounts, I ended up finding like pretty much all of them. And so at the time, I'm sure you remember, like Bruce was literally posting probably 100 times a day throughout all those accounts. And I just realized like how hard he worked. And then I eventually found Caden, his accounts as well. And I was just something like, I just really wanted to kind of work with you guys and, just figure out what I needed to do. Cause like I said, I was still making conversions, but I knew just based off like sales psychology and stuff that there was definitely stuff I was missing. This was my first time ever getting into anything sales related. So I definitely wanted some help.
So how long were you kind of doing it before you reached out to us? Was it like I believe it was like 2.5 months, because it was prior to us actually making Creator Haven.
Yeah, it was about 2 months that I was just pretty much trying to copy, and I really didn't know what I was doing in terms of product selection or like actually any sales tactics or anything like that.
100%. And that's exactly what Emery said as well, because we just did that interview with him. He said literally down the T that what he was missing was a product selection, the consistency, how to build out the content so it actually converts. And I think that's something a lot of affiliates really miss out on, especially product selection. I know we'll get into this later. I know Emery yesterday, that was his whole entire thing was product selection, product selection, product selection. But yeah, definitely those two things without the consistency behind it, how to structure the videos and the product selection, it makes it very, very difficult to actually, convert on shop. So kind of how long were you posting, before you started to make real money? Because obviously $400 or $500 a week is good. That comes out to maybe 3-4K a month. I do believe you had a breakthrough November-ish. So kind of walk me through that. You had a 2-3 month stretch, kind of similar to Gio, kind of similar to Emery, where maybe it just didn't seem like it was going to start working. And then finally you had your breakthrough.
Yeah. So I was doing like $500-800 a month. And then pretty much so after that first 2 months when I started shop and then I finally joined Creator Haven, it was about 6 months before I hit my first 10K month, which was in November. But before that I had, some 3-4K months, and I was just seeing everybody in the community like hitting these 20K months and this and that. And I was just, that kind of can put you down a little bit. But if you just keep going, like I said, it took me from joining the community, it took me about 6 months to actually hit that first 10K month in November of last year. So yeah, that was, I would say my first, I was like, wow, 10,000 a month. Obviously, like back then, 10K a month is like the online money, what you want to hit. Like if you hit 10K a month, you're him, you know what I mean? So I was so hyped when I hit that first 10K.
100%.
Yeah, that was.
And then you obviously had a little bit of success earlier than that as well. I remember you had, I think it was like October, September, you had a couple live streams where you're doing $800 to $1,000 a day. I know you started dabbling into that. Kind of walk them through the famous $3,000 $4,000 in 4 hour live stream. you had in November?
Yeah, it was 4 grand in one live stream. And that was my first 10K month when I actually did that, when I hit that live stream. I saw that Bucked Up was running their biggest sale of the year. And I had already had experience in live streams just doing Call of Duty and stuff. So I figured, you know what, let me give it a try. I set up everything on my, I put all the cans together, and it was really the most simple live stream that you could think of. It was basically, we consider it a bottom of funnel live stream where you're just selling the sale, telling them the Bucked Up cans are 50% off. And then, before you knew it, I was like the top ranked affiliate for Bucked Up on live streams. When I finally got off my live stream, I realized there was about 20 people copying exactly what I was doing. So that was super cool. That was an insane month. And Bucked Up still does these sales as well. I haven't had like a 4K in 4 hours again, but the money is still insane. I was last Bucked Up, I was doing like, I don't know, $300-400 an hour, which is still insane.
So what did it feel like making $4,000 in 4 hours, coming from somebody with kind of a little bit of a rough upbringing, maybe, bouncing from apartment to apartment, and then obviously working some pretty tough jobs, not having too much success online. And then 6 months into this whole TikTok shop thing, you're hitting $1,000 an hour. Kind of walk me through that feeling once you finished that live stream, how that felt.
Once I finished the live stream, I could not believe it. Like basically jumping up and down, telling my grandparents like, look, I actually did it, and shortly after that, you realize, okay, I need to do this again. I need to make this consistent. But that first 10K month was probably the best feeling in the world. I've had some higher months than that now, but that first 10K month is just like, you just feel amazing.
100%. Yeah. Would you say your first $100 day felt better or your first 10K month?
I would say for me, it would be that 10K month, just because like I said, pretty much right when I started, I did see that success just from strictly copying you guys. And so I kind of was just, learning the ropes, and I was already kind of getting that little bit of money. So definitely that 10K month felt the best for me.
100%. And then I'm going to back it up here for a second. Kind of what was the lowest point of your TikTok shop journey leading up to this 10K month, or even after this 10K month? Kind of what was your lowest point where you thought, okay, this might not work, and then you almost threw in the towel?
Yeah, it was definitely before that 10K month. Like I was doing anywhere between like 3, 4, maybe even 5K a month, but it was extremely low just because there was obviously plenty of people in our community already hitting those 20, 30K months. And I just couldn't figure out, like I was posting 100 times a day, waking up at, 10 a.m., working till 2 a.m. And I just couldn't really figure out what I was doing wrong. Little did I know I was building that snowball effect that whole entire time.
Yeah.
And that was my lowest point, because I just kept seeing the wins, and I honestly didn't want to obviously $3,000 a month online is insane, but at the time it was just like pure. It was just in my head, it felt like everybody was sending 10, 20K months. So I kind of got in my head a little bit, and that was pretty silly looking back on it. But yeah, that was my lowest point.
And then at that point, you were still doing kind of probably the videos where you were talking in them, right? So that was prior to actually switching up the strategy. So that's the thing, guys. Anybody watching this right now, he was in a low trench period. All he did was switch his dial up, and then we're going to kind of shift into this in a minute. But then he started consistently with the exact same videos, just using somebody else's sound, switching up the strategy. He started consistently hitting $10, $15, even $20,000 a month. So I know you started as a live streamer, or you saw your first real bit of success as a live streamer. How did you kind of switch into videos? Because obviously we all know now you're crushed with videos. You've been crushing with videos for like the past probably 7 months, since like January, actually since literally December. I think it was like December 1. It was right around then. Kind of switched over to a new style of videos. And then,
right around December.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So how did you kind of make that switch, knowing like, okay, I crushed with live streams? How did you kind of figure out you needed to switch over, and how did you kind of implement those systems?
Yeah. So when I first started posting with my face, I did not want to at all. I absolutely kind of hated it. But, like I said, I was posting 100 times a day with my face and still just not wanting to do it. But I knew that I had to do what I had to do. And that's kind of part of the game. You got to realize this is not a get rich quick thing. Yeah. Some people may have some insane months their first couple months. Some people may not. But 100% the thing is just consistency, and just, you got to keep going. You got to do what you got to do. Got to do what's working now. Because at the time, that's what was working was, putting your face in the camera, kind of yelling at the camera a bit. And yeah, obviously I didn't really want to do that, but I did it anyways.
100%. So, yeah. And you finally made that switch over, and then you became one of the top ones in the entire agency doing faceless videos. So kind of talk about, how you kind of made that. When you made that switch, what was it like finally moving over to a style you liked?
When I made the switch, it was absolutely felt amazing. Going pretty much from using my face in every single video to going full faceless pretty much changed the game for me. I was able to be a lot more consistent and just work a lot harder because I didn't have to really think about putting my face in the video. But yeah, I would say it completely changed the game for me for sure.
100%. And at your peak, how many samples would you say you were requesting I guess you're still at your peak. So I guess like right now, and even like 6 to 7 months ago when we were posting all those faceless videos, because obviously now you're limited to 30 posts a day. But at the time, how many posts per, or how many, let's just say samples per day or samples per week were you kind of requesting and getting in?
So what I tell all the people in Creator Haven and pretty much just myself as well, until you get to that platinum status right now, if you're gold or under, every single day I would be getting that message where it says you've requested the max amount of samples, and you need to do that every single day and just get as many different products to test as possible. Obviously, still look at that score. But yeah, I mean, just yesterday I got like, I don't know, like 15, 20 packages. Today, I don't know how many I'll get today. In the peak though, I mean, I was getting probably like, I don't know, 70 a week or something. It's ridiculous. My house is a full warehouse right now. So, yeah.
So how did you not get overwhelmed? Because somebody watching this right now is going to say, wait, that's way too many samples. Kind of what's your system to stay organized, to know what to keep on posting, to know, because I know you sell some of your products as well, to either know what to sell, what to throw out, or what to keep throwing into the mix?
Yeah. So I honestly, I just didn't get overwhelmed because I knew what I had to do. But obviously, like I said, I live with my grandparents now. They're in their 70s and don't understand any of this. And so I think the biggest part of me actually staying organized was them getting overwhelmed. They're like, whoa, this is a lot of stuff in our house. We need to kind of, take care of this. And so, yeah, I just organized everything. I turned my one computer room into basically a whole sample room. And then we'll kind of get into how I use Facebook as well a little bit later to kind of get rid of a lot of these samples.
100%. So how do you know whether to double down on something or just kind of like maybe get rid of it? Like, what's your process? Is it like a certain amount of sales? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sales like per day? Like, what do you kind of look for?
I strictly look at views because right now, as a lot of you know, it's all about GMV max. So if you're getting even even say like 2,000, I would say around 2,000 or above views, even if I don't get a sale on that, like maybe first 1 or 2 original videos that I post with a sample, I'm still going to keep pushing that product out because I know that company is putting money behind that product.
100%.
So yeah, just that 2,000 or more, I would say.
Definitely a little bit of an algorithm, different algorithm than when you probably first started, back in April 2025 or March 2025 compared to now August 2026. Everything is GMV max based. So now I'm kind of going to switch gears here for a second. Obviously, when you were, or I keep saying when you still are to this day. What do the people around you still think right now that, you're hitting these crazy months, they see your success on social media, they see you're going on these crazy trips, which we'll get into. What does everybody around you think? And what do you tell them?
Yeah. So when I first started, pretty much all my friends were making fun of me, literally just what are you doing? And my grandparents, obviously being a bit older, they've always wanted me to go to trade school, college, something like that. They could not understand. They didn't even know online money was real, pretty much. And yeah, now I'm like, it's insane. I'm like a business owner. My grandparents are extremely proud of me. My friends can't believe how much money I'm making on TikTok. So it's just everything will flip. So that's kind of just even more of a reason to just always believe in yourself, stick to the plan, because, you can't, especially with something like your parents or your grandparents, you're not going to be able to convince them that this is going to work until you make it work. So anybody right now that's in that with their parents, oh, they wouldn't want me to do this. You're not going to be able to convince them. You're not going to be able to, because it's your dream, your path. You have to realize that only you see the vision. They're obviously not going to see that same vision that you see. 100%. So just believe in yourself 100%.
100%. So looking back now, what do you think you were missing from day one? Was it product selection? Was it systems in place? Kind of walk me through that.
Yes. So the number one thing that I changed was even when I was copying you and Caden, I still was guessing a lot. I still didn't know which products were working for you guys or what specific sayings were actually, making that money. So the first thing I changed was product selection. Obviously there was no GMV max at the time. So it was just products that were working and products that weren't. And I just had no experience. Like I said, right off the rip, I just started copying you guys. And I guess when you start copying somebody like that, you're kind of not learning too much. You're just copying, doing the best you can. And yeah, first thing I changed 100% was the product selection.
100%. And especially with it being pre-GMV max, especially now too, do you think it's easier to make money now on TikTok Shop or back in 2025 with GMV max era?
That's hard to say. Because I know obviously you had you're probably some of your craziest months all the way back then. But for me, just starting out back then, it's definitely 10 times easier for me to make money now.
Oh, I agree. I agree because I think it's a lot more, it's not as much of a guessing game and a lot of it's way more predictable. I always like to put this example, but something like Bloom, new release, I know it's going to sell every single time. Whereas back in the day, like you said, a lot of it's just strictly guessing. A lot of it is, okay, I saw this product blow up for this guy. I'm going to get that product in. Now it's called, okay, I know the brands that are running ad spend. I know these guys, when they come out with a new release, it's going to sell because we know they have a big ad budget and we know that there's a lot of hype behind the brand. So I 100% agree. I think now it's a lot more predictable. And I think if you can be early onto the predictable products, that's how you can make the 2023, the 2024 money, because there's still glimpses of it. And I think you can see it from the wins in the community. Some of the wins are just as crazy as the 2023, 2024 wins are because of GMV Max. The videos get carried so heavily in the first couple of days that they're doing crazier numbers than you would have seen back then, which I think is pretty freaking crazy. But obviously, you were the first person ever to join Creator Haven, our very first one, literally client number one, creator number one. What made you take that risk when there was zero proof in the pudding? Like there was zero proof, there was zero anything that Creator Haven would work. Now we've helped almost nearly 1,000 creators scale to that next level. But you were number one. You literally didn't have to trust us at all. You came in with zero experience to us, didn't know us. Kind of why did you, kind of walk me through that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been trying online money stuff like since I was a kid. And once I started copying Bruce and Kate and seeing their pages, like I just genuinely could not believe how hard these two worked. And, I just told myself, like, as soon as I saw that you guys released the community, I was like, if somebody's going to be successful in this community, it's going to be me. 100%. Like you kind of have to have that little bit of delusion. And yeah, I pretty much had no hesitation. I don't know if you remember, but I was take my money, get me in this community right now. I need to learn everything I can. I'm going to work my ass off. Yeah, I was just super hyped, like 100%. To actually join.
And obviously you've joined some other communities before. Kind of what separated our community, I guess now that you've been with us for a year, kind of what was different from our community versus any previous communities or agencies you were part of? Like what would you say was the main difference?
Yeah, so when you guys didn't actually like release your community, like I would have joined your community if it was like in those first 2 months of me doing TikTok shop, but obviously it wasn't a thing. So I was just like, all right, what's the best thing I can do? And I found a different one. I'm not going to, name a name or anything, but I mean, I was told that I would get retainers, one-on-one work, and it was just nothing of that sort. I didn't get a single retainer. I didn't get any one-on-one work. And I ended up leaving that community pretty much just like very shortly after I joined. Absolutely hated it. So you said like, what's the difference with Creator Haven as well?
What do you think?
Creator Haven, strictly one-on-one. You're getting products that you need to be posting every single day that takes the guessing out completely. All you have to do is pretty much put in the work. It's still very hard work, but you have everything that you need to pretty much lock in and just do what you need to do.
100%. I especially think those strategy calls, because obviously you're one of the VIP coaches. You get on calls with creators all the time, and we have those custom strategy plans that get a custom list with 20 products that they need to be requesting or free sampling every single day. So it is very one-on-one here. And we're an official TikTok shop agency. Like I said, or like you said, a lot of these other communities or agencies, there's no one-on-one. They're not even a certified agency in some cases, and they can't guarantee retainers. We guarantee every single creator, regardless of GMV, over $1,000 a month in retainers, which I think is pretty freaking cool. All right. So then obviously, how long did it take until you kind of saw the snowball effect really start to churn and for the whole entire process to actually start working?
I would say within the first like 2 months of actually posting, this is when I started doing the faceless content. You kind of realize once you start seeing those sales from like the videos like months previously, you're like, okay, I kind of see how this works now. Because when you think about it, it's like if you get a whole bunch of videos up months after months and those just keep making you money, keep getting views, especially with the GMV Max now, it's like
insane.
You could have a video from a year ago and a campaign rolls around, GMV Max is just smacking that product, and you'll see a video go up like 100,000 views from a year ago. And you're just absolutely printing off that snowball effect. So I think it's very important to post as many times as you can a day. Obviously, it's 30 times a day now. What I would recommend to every creator at this point is you need to be doing your absolute best to get 30 videos out a day on each account every single day to build that snowball effect. Because, every video counts. It doesn't matter if it gets no sales in the first couple weeks, you can get a sale whenever off that video.
100%.
So that's kind of that snowball effect.
Yeah. And we see it all the time. Creators will send in the wins. They'll be like, oh, look, this video from a year ago. You'll see Caden's NutriCost video, 26 million views. I see your videos all the time from like Christmas and Black Friday, getting sales each and every campaign. And that is the beauty of GMV Max, of the whole new TikTok shop algorithm. Is the snowball effect obviously was real way back when, 2025, especially now with ad spend. If the company just turns it back on, ramps it up. I know I have a couple like Muscle Sport USA videos from 2024 that'll recirculate. Back when we could do like price videos, they recirculate every single campaign, even without campaigns. So, really just like you said, showing up every single day, putting those videos out there. Like I would say some of my best videos ever are videos that I filmed on like my worst days, the days where I didn't want to wake up, the days where I was sick, the days where I just wasn't feeling it, and I just got up and posted anyways. So I really think just showing up every single day is probably one of the most important things.
And don't negotiate with yourself either. Like if you told yourself you're going to post every single day, it doesn't matter how you feel because, TikTok, your business does not care how you feel. You have to
100%.
just stick to the plan and, post every day.
100%. Would you say you're more results-based or process-based now?
100% process-based now. I used to look at my earnings for the day, like every hour, I don't know. And that will completely screw up your mindset because you can be sitting there looking at your earnings for the day and you'd be like, oh, that could make you feel like, oh, you don't want to post because you're not doing as good today. That is just not the case at all. You need to be 100% process-based and just continue to put those videos out. 100%. Don't worry about the money. I think you said in an interview before as well, there's people that will literally just not even look at their earnings for the month and just, absolutely hammer those videos out. I think that's the best way to do it. I will say it's harder to do that at the beginning. Obviously, if you're brand new to it, you want to see like how much money you're making. But the quicker that you can switch from those results-based to process-based, the quicker you can do that, better off you'll be.
100%. And then kind of walk me through your day-to-day as a TikTok Shop affiliate now. Like obviously you wake up in the morning, like kind of walk me through all that.
Yeah. So I wake up about 9, 10 a.m., sometimes earlier. I'll get my breakfast in, go straight to the gym, get my workout in, come back and just get straight to work immediately. Right now I'm in the position I'm blessed to where I have one of my buddies actually working for me, filming like half of my videos. And so that's amazing. It takes out like, I don't know, it only takes like an hour out of my time, but just that extra hour that I have to, spend time with my friends, family, dog, whatever it may be. Yeah, so I just work from when I get home from the gym, pretty much, I would say until I go to sleep. I like to get some extra work done. Just with how hard I've worked, it allows me to obviously take any time off that I need to. And I have that snowball effect as well. So
100%. 100%. So kind of what does your months look like, GMV wise, commission wise? Has it been pretty steady? Has it been going up exponentially? Kind of walk me through that.
It's been pretty steady recently. I had my biggest month was in June, was right around that 20K mark. I think it was like 19.5. So I count it as 20K. That was between Facebook and then pretty much my commissions as well on TikTok. But yeah, I would say it's been, I don't know, probably well over at least 6 months where I'm just making 10,000 or more every single month. That just feels amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Especially coming from, where you came from, your whole entire life journey. And then obviously dabbling in all these other online money kind of niches with drop shipping, trading, YouTube as well. It's kind of very, very similar to Emery. That's what I'll say. Very, very similar kind of route where you're trying out all these other things. You have glimpses, but you just can't break through on the other platforms. You finally find something and boom, you're making a ton of money. And then obviously, just a minute ago, you talked about, how you're, you can take time off whenever you want and you're kind of in that position. So you just spent almost a month in Japan and still had a $10,000 commission month on TikTok Shop, not plus Facebook. This is commission month while traveling in a different country where they don't even have TikTok Shop. Kind of walk me through how that is even possible. You didn't post a single video while you were there.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to that snowball effect, posting every single day. I honestly probably would have taken the trip earlier, but I just didn't feel comfortable at all. I wanted to keep building that snowball effect. And then I finally realized like, okay, I've been working very, very hard for, quite a while. Let's just go to Japan, not even post. I mean, I talked to you guys before. I could have posted while I was in Japan, but I just decided, let me just enjoy my trip, see how it goes. And yeah, I ended up hitting $10,000 without posting a single time. And that felt insane.
That's insane. Like, wow. So kind of explain, what you did to build up that snowball effect that keeps paying you when you're not working. You took nearly a month off. So how did you build up that snowball effect?
I would say pretty much just being relentless with posting every single day. As you know, TikTok is very highs and lows. Going back to that process based as well. Like, I don't care how low of a day you're having, you need to get your posts out because you're building that snowball effect actively. I can't tell you the amount of times that videos will pop off or even make you could post a video one day and you won't make that first sale on that video in like a week or two after. So that snowball effect is extremely crucial to build up. I think that's honestly just part of bottom of funnel. I mean, you look at some of the top bottom of funnel creators like Cake Finds, who is still, I'm sure, absolutely just printing off of all those bottom of funnel videos that he's
100%.
made. Just a perfect example of you need to build that snowball effect.
100%. Yeah. So how many hours a day would you say it takes you now? Because obviously, you're working from the time you go home or from the time you come back from the gym till night. But out of that time, how many hours a day are you spending just on TikTok Shop?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't always I'll go to the gym and then I'll go to Chipotle or whatever. I'll kind of just hang out for a bit and I'll come home. And honestly, it takes me only maybe 3 hours at the most a day. Kind of that extra time that I spend will just kind of, flood into the extra day. And like I said, or into the following day. And I don't do that every day. So I would say probably half the week I'm working literally 3 hours a day, which feels amazing.
For 20K a month, your 20K a month is pretty freaking crazy. And you took a month off. So even last month was probably not even 20 hours of work, maybe 20, 25 hours of work for a 10K month, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. Yeah, dude, that's absolutely insane. So in terms of, where your money's coming from, is it mainly coming from commission, retainers, samples? I know you're big on Facebook, if you kind of want to walk me through that.
Yeah, so I make about 90% of my money just strictly on commissions. I don't do any retainers anymore. I used to do retainers kind of when I first started out just to get that ball rolling. But then I realized, how important it is to actually test all these different products. Yeah. You don't really want to lock yourself in with a company, even if it's for like, an extra $3,000 a month or whatever. You don't want to limit yourself to just like pretty much just posting that. Yeah. Obviously, there's some creators doing way bigger retainers for certain brands, but I just personally have always stayed away from them. So that's about 90% of my money is just straight commissions, anywhere between like 10 to 15K, sometimes a little bit more. And then with Facebook Marketplace is pretty much how I get rid of most of my samples. And not only get rid of them, sometimes I will specifically request samples on TikTok Shop just to sell on Facebook, just kind of take advantage of the situation you're in. Obviously, we don't know how long TikTok Shop's gonna be around. Hopefully, the next 5-10 years, but I think you should be trying to make as much money as possible in the moment. And so, yeah, I'll make an extra anywhere between like at the lowest, like 1,000, it's anywhere up to like 3,000 a month, just extra on Facebook. And that's with me doing absolutely no work. So I'll have my aunt come over. She picks up all the products and then I'll give her, 40% pretty much of whatever sales she does, because she's the one listing everything, coming to pick it up. But yeah, it's basically no extra work other than me requesting a couple extra samples and just giving them to her, which I recommend anybody, 100%. Even if you have an extra hour, post your stuff on Facebook. You will make, and again, it's cash too. So that's the best part. And yeah. 100%. So
yeah, dude, literally a freaking money glitch, especially when you get your GMV up there. I know you're like Ruby close to Emerald every single month. And that really, really helps as well, because you can unlock those higher commission products. You can get the stuff that's like electronics. You get the stuff that's like jewelry on Shop, and then it can sell on Marketplace for $200-$300. Make a couple videos, flip the item.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, once you get to Ruby, you don't even get that message anymore where it tells you like, oh, you've reached your sample limit. So that should show you right there. Use Facebook Marketplace, get as many samples as you can and put them on there.
100%. Yeah. So kind of what was the first thing you did with real money? Like all this, I guess, your first bit of real money that you couldn't do before?
Yeah. So obviously, with where I came from, like I've pretty much just wanted to save everything just to make sure that I'm good for a while, save and invest it. I get all my clothes, all my shoes, all my snacks from TikTok. So I don't really have to spend money on that. But I would honestly say my first big purchase was just last month, was going to Japan. I spent quite a bit of money to go there.
Experiences.
And it felt amazing. Yeah. Experiences. I have like I'm at the most like pretty much most expensive gym in my area. It's like $150 a month. And I mean, I just would never have thought that I would be able to do something like that, like 100%. Ever. Oh, yeah.
100%. Yeah. I think that's super smart. Investing your money, saving your money. Because like you said, a lot of this stuff, you never truly know. Obviously, TikTok Shop on pace right now to be one of the largest, but to not go out and buy the C8 Corvette, to go get yourself in a bunch of potential debt, potentially buy,
I could do that. Yeah. It's cool, but I just, for me, like I said, especially with where I came from, it's very important to me that I know that I'll be good for my future and stuff like that.
100%. Love that. So kind of talk to me about your family and what that has let you do for them.
I've gave pretty much everybody in my family, not everybody, most of them, at least like $1,000, some more, some less. And it feels amazing to be able to help out. Another thing is samples. Like my stepdad sends me like probably 3 or 4 things a day just off of samples off TikTok. And he's just like, hey, you care if you request this? Pretty much every time I get accepted for it. And I'll just do like a little live stream or something to kind of clear the sample. And so yeah, I'm able to give my family a whole bunch of samples. I gave my sister like, I think 10 pieces from Comfort for her birthday. Yeah. So samples, and then obviously, helping out with money whenever they may need it is just, it's a blessing for sure.
100%. Obviously, you get a lot of your stuff from TikTok Shop. Kind of walk me through, like, obviously you're getting free clothes, free snacks, free electronics. Do you pay for like literally anything? Like you literally get everything for free. You never have to go to the mall anymore. Like none of that.
Yeah, I have my whole closet, anywhere. I mean, from my sweatshirts to my t-shirts to my underwear, my socks, everything is TikTok, bro. Every single thing is from TikTok. So yeah, my expenses when it comes to that stuff is pretty low. I mean, I don't spend any money on snacks anymore. You get 100% free protein. Like it's insane, honestly.
Yeah, dude, that is crazy. That is absolutely insane. So is there kind of a specific moment that stands out, that, you had with your family because of TikTok Shop that you'll remember probably for the rest of your life?
Yeah, definitely when I first gave my grandma, she's done a lot for me. Like I said, I moved in with them when I was 12, and they're just on their retirement money, which it's not too crazy per month. So I ended up giving her $1,500 in cash and then a $500 Giant Eagle gift card for Mother's Day, and that moment will stick with me forever. It just felt insane to be able to do that and see how grateful she was, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's an amazing moment.
100%, bro. Dude, that's like, I love that so much because a lot of the time, people will say, oh, I got all this money, I didn't give any of it back. Or they went out, they bought the watch, they bought the designer clothes, they went, like I said, and bought the car. Instead, you're saving your money, you're investing your money, and then you're just strictly giving back to your family, which super wholesome, bro. Like literally so like heartwarming. Like
it feels amazing, dude. It's the best feeling in the world. And that's obviously that's always been my goal, honestly, is to be able to just like give money back to my family and help 100%. People, help my family out and stuff. Yeah.
100%. So what would the version of you 3 or 4 years ago have thought if you saw where you're at now?
I wouldn't believe it. Like not even close. My goal, like when I first joined Creator Haven after those initial 2 months, my goal was just like always to hit 100,000 in GMV. I thought like that was insane that there was people that even had 100,000 in sales. And obviously now I'm right at that million mark. So I just wouldn't even believe it because it was so hard, honestly, to get to that first 100K GMV. And then after that, it just kept building and building way quicker. Yeah, I would have never expected it in a million years that I'd be where I'm at.
100%. How has that kind of changed how you see yourself now as, TikTok Shop affiliate and as an individual?
I respect myself a lot more now. I have changed a lot about how I see myself, like as a business owner. Like I pay my taxes, like it's insane to be where I'm at. Like I used to lay in bed at night and just wonder, like, is TikTok even the right thing for me? Like, is this going to work out? So when you say like, I would genuinely never have thought I would be here. Yeah.
100%. So obviously you went from being the very first member of Creator Haven to now running the Discord and coaching people every single day. Kind of walk me through how that happened.
Yeah. So absolutely insane journey. I think when I first joined, I kind of mentioned to you guys that one of my goals would be to eventually be a coach like one day. 100%. And it took me a while. I would say like I had to work my ass off. I've been very active in the community. Obviously I was the first person to join, kind of got to know the ropes of everything, learned that, how directly one-on-one we actually are. And yeah, just after kind of hitting some insane GMV and being, one of the most active people in the community for a long time, obviously you guys gave me that admin role, yes, and it felt amazing. It feels amazing to coach people, see them actually just move forward and succeed. Yeah, I'm very blessed to be the admin.
And so obviously you see a ton of questions come through. What is one thing that you see people ask over and over inside of the community or even on calls you get on?
Yeah, one of the best, one of the most common things I see is, kind of like before I hit my 10K month, people will be making, $2,000-$3,000 a month, and they just can't figure out what they need to switch. And so they'll kind of say like, yeah, like I hit this, but I want to get more and more. And that's one of the things where 99% of the people know what they need to do, especially with us, with all the coaches. We kind of tell them, look, well, you need to fix this, you need to fix that. And one of the most important things you can do inside of a community like this, or honestly, any community that you're paying to learn in, is freaking listen. Like there's a lot of people that, I'm not going to lie, like just don't listen sometimes. It's like we tell you what you need to do and they'll kind of disagree, or they won't actually take the steps to fix that. And most people know that like they're not being consistent. So a lot of times as people know what they need to do, you just need to actually do it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's something that, like I said, I keep saying Emery's interview, but it's almost identical. Literally the exact same answer that he gave, because he does all the account reviews. He says that's probably the most common thing is people will come back week after week, and the people that still struggle 2-3 months down the road or 2 weeks down the road, they just do not listen to what he's saying. They show up with the exact same problem week in and week out, or they're just not staying consistent. So 100%.
Yeah, I will say if you don't believe you're a coachable person, like if you're not going to listen, it's not the community for you. Like we're trying to give you the answers, so you have to actually be coachable and learn from what we're telling you.
100%. I think being able to learn from your mistakes as well, especially with TikTok Shop being very volatile sometimes, and new guidelines, new violations, not being able to adapt and obviously be coached to an extent. And, when something goes wrong, be able to kind of switch gears is kind of what it takes.
Yeah, you got to be able to accept that you're in the wrong and that you got to change something.
100%. Yeah. So kind of what separates the people who are doing 15, 20K a month that you're working with to the people that maybe go quiet in the community or go quiet after 2-3 weeks of trying and kind of give up and lay off the ropes?
Yeah. So, as cliche as it sounds, it's going to be the people that don't give up, whether you've gotten 5 account bans, 10 violations in a day. Everybody at the top, me, you, Caden, Gio, freaking everybody has been through some sort of that. And none of us have ever really thought, like, maybe sometimes, but you pretty much got to tell yourself, like, you're going to figure it out. You know, you have to keep moving forward. And, you know, like I said at the beginning, be a little bit delusional about yourself and being able to figure something out. Sometimes you got to have a little bit of patience. But yeah, the number one thing that separates people is the ones that keep on going. Like, there's people that will take longer than 6 months to hit their first 10K month. There's people that will hit it way shorter and then they'll have a huge dip. So you got to keep going and just keep stacking those wins over and over.
Yeah. And I think really just staying consistent, you know, like you said, and being able to show up day in and day out is probably one of the most key things. And obviously push through those low periods, because like you said, there could be a high month, there could be a low month. And, you know, if you can't stay consistent, you know, you're just going to be pushed around in the wind whenever something bad happens. And that's really not how you can be. You need something to kind of lean back on, always go back to, you know, what your original plan is and just keep on pushing. So what do you tell somebody that is 30 days in with pretty much nothing to show for it right now?
Yeah. So if you're 30 days in with nothing to show for it, typically that means you need to change something about your content, or you need to stay more consistent. So kind of back to what I said before, like, you have to listen to the coaches. We do account reviews every single week. We have one-on-one coaches telling you what to fix about your stuff. And I would say the number one thing is, like we said before, genuinely just not listening. Thinking that you're going to join a community and just not listen and think that you still know best. It sometimes just doesn't even make sense to me. It's like, you know, you got to listen. We're telling you what works. I think it's very important to learn and actually take advice from the people that are already where you want to be.
100%.
Yeah.
I think coachability is absolutely everything. And it goes with everything in life. You know, if you can be coachable, if you can come in with an open mind and be open to a lot of feedback, even if the feedback might be not something that, you know, you want to hear in the moment. I think that's how creators go from like 3K a month to even $30,000, $40,000 a month. I remember Rand, when he came to us, you know, he's super coachable. He took our advice and he was kind of in the same exact shoes where it took him 2-3 months. And then all of a sudden now he's $40,000, $50,000 a month. So 100%. I think coachability is absolutely,
he's killing it.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. Yeah. So I guess, you know, somebody's watching this right now from a small town, maybe a similar situation that you were in, who thinks, you know, opportunities like this are for other people. They just do not exist. What would you say to them?
Yeah. So I'm from a very small town. Like, there was 120 people that graduated from my high school. Very, very small town. And like I said at the beginning, you know, with my story, this could legitimately work out for anybody. Does not matter what your past is. If you're able to put in the work, like, I will say, I was in high school, I was a straight C student. You know, I graduated, but, you know, I barely tried in school whatsoever. Didn't have any plan for my life, going job to job, trying all these different online things. So, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are in the same spot that I was. And trying to tell you guys, really, like, anybody can do this. It's all up to your mindset and being willing to work and be coachable, like we said.
So somebody's on the fence about joining Creator Haven right now. What do you wish you would have known before you kind of jumped in and said yes?
I would say I part of me wishes I knew, like, how consistent you would have had to been or have to be. Because like I said, this was my first ever like real online business, my first ever thing that I've honestly even never really like tried this hard for. So yeah, I guess that maybe I wish I knew that. So yeah, you have to be extremely consistent, whether you have, you know, only 2 hours out of your day to work on this, or you have the whole day. You need to be maximizing your inputs 100% of the time. And yeah, like, it's not going to be a get rich quick thing for most people. You got to build that snowball like we talked about.
100%. I think really being able to stay patient and, you know, you see all the wins, but use that as motivation and not to feel down on yourself. Like you said, like, a lot of it, when you see these wins, you have to use that as motivation, use that as an opportunity to ask more questions, to figure out what these guys are doing different, because nobody in the community is any different than you. For the most part, everybody's from, you know, pretty much, you know, a spot where at one point they didn't do online money, and nobody, you know, everybody can only post 30 times a day. So a lot of it really just comes down to being coachable, showing up every single day, and, you know, staying as consistent as possible. So what would your life kind of look like right now if you never sent us that first message?
I would be no idea where I'd be at. Probably nowhere. After those last 2 weeks of live streaming, when I realized like how much that money dipped after somebody donated me $5,000.
Okay, that's crazy.
I was not really ready to, I guess, try the online money stuff again. Like I said, my grandparents, they're in their 70s. They always wanted me to go to trade school. As soon as I quit my warehouse job, my grandpa was very upset. What are you going to do? You know, TikTok isn't reliable. Like, they didn't believe in online money at all. So I was pretty much looking at like going to trade school or college and doing something that honestly I didn't want to do for the rest of my life. So Creator Haven quite literally changed my entire life. Yeah.
So how did you kind of, because obviously it took you 3-4 months in the back of your head when, you know, your grandparents were for those 3 to 4 months where your grandparents kind of in your ear about it and you just had to kind of say, okay, just let me figure this out? Like, kind of describe your relationship during that 3-month stretch.
Yeah, it was really hard. They're very like old school. And, I think even when I had like my first like 2K month or whatever on a TikTok shop, they're like, oh, that's good, but it's not really, ever going to be consistent. Like it was very hard. And I'm sure a lot of people have that same kind of thing with their parents. Mm-hmm. And kind of like back what I said at the beginning, only you have your vision, only you can really see, what you want to do. That you're not going to be able to convince them otherwise. So you just have to work, put your head down, and just do the absolute best you can with anything. 100%. And that life gives you. So,
and I guess I'll end the interview with one last question. If you have one piece of advice to anybody watching this right now, what would that be?
Let me think. If I had one piece of advice, probably would be never sell yourself short on like what you could accomplish. Like I genuinely never ever thought that I would hit a $10,000 month online or a $20,000 month online. Like when I say never thought, like I was one of the dumbest kids in my school, didn't have anything going for me. So yeah, just never give up, I guess. So that would be my advice.
Well, it was absolutely a pleasure. This is Nick Lucido, nearly 1 million in GMV since joining us inside of Creator Haven. Literally absolutely insane. It was an absolute pleasure. We'll have the link below to apply to work with us inside of Creator Haven. Nick, if you want to shout out any socials, we'll also have those linked below.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Nick Lucido _. Shoot me a DM if you ever need help with anything related to TikTok or just anything. Yeah.
100%. And make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next interview. Thank you guys so much for watching. I want to give a huge shout out to Nick Lucido for hopping on the interview with me today. It was absolutely a pleasure having you on the channel. Make sure to like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys are interested in working with us directly inside of Creator Haven, we have a 30-second application at the bottom of this video in the description. Please go ahead and fill that out, and we will reach out to you via text and then set something up via Zoom. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.